What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a minute since my last video. Some things came up, had to take care of that, get myself back in the, oh my gosh, really? Ignore her. Because, I'm doing such a great job at that. Anyways, things came up, had to get myself back together, things got a little hectic, a little busy. Didn't really have time. Now I've got time, so here I am back to give you guys some content. So today what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of go over the vehicles that I've had in the past, all the way up into the vehicle that I have now, and why there hasn't been content for me to give you, or lack thereof content. But we'll go into those nitty-gritty details at the end of the video. Right now, we're just going to hit that intro and then get into showing you the vehicles that I've had since my first car all the way up into now. Let's get it. Alright, so, I know I said we're going to go ahead and get right into it. One little prefacer. So, I've got my list of my cars right here. Some of these I don't really have a lot of pictures for, so I either went online, found something that was similar to the one that I had, and honestly, some of these I'm also going to kind of just speed run through because there wasn't either a lot of time with them or memories. Didn't really do much with it other than it being a driver, just like a daily driver. Other ones I'll spend a little more time on, or I've got more pictures because I had them longer, or there's more memories, whatever. So, on that note, the first car that I ever had. Alright, so the 1979 El Camino. Got it as my first car. Had some issues. We got the brakes taken care of on it, and that's pretty much where it was. At that point, I didn't know really anything about cars, so I didn't know what to look for to fix it. It would start when it wanted to, it would run when it wanted to, so eventually just kind of let it go. On to the next, the 2005 Chevy Colorado. So this one was actually my cousin's truck, but he ended up overseas because of the military, and he let me have it. Well, unfortunately, I was dumb, new driver. I ended up getting into 3 accidents, and that third one basically totaled it. Had a lot of good times with that truck. Miss it. Still want to get another one. Really put a precedence on the kind of truck that I want, because it did everything I needed it to do and everything that I could expect from a truck. So that's that one. Then after the truck, I had this 2009 scooter. Can't remember what kind of scooter it was. Literally, this is the only picture I have of it. Pretty much just taught me a little bit about how to handle 2 wheels. That's it. So on to the next. Alright, so now we have the 1998 Saturn SL1, which, if anybody knows their Saturns, there was the SL1 and the SL2. The only real difference between the SL1 and the SL2 is single overhead versus dual overhead. Anyways, so with this vehicle, it was the first vehicle that me and my girlfriend, fiance at the time, got together. It was a pretty good, reliable car. Most people shit on Saturns because, oh, it's Saturn, you suck. It was very reliable and got me to point A, or from point A to point B and back to point A whenever I needed it. So I actually like those cars. Only reason I don't have that one anymore is because I got into an accident. I was going straight through a light, Lady decided now was the perfect time to turn and just not rear-ended, but T-boned me. So, well, there goes that, because as dependable as that car was, they don't hold their value for nothing. So, what's probably an $800 car needed more than that to fix it, wasn't worth it. So, let that one go. And that brings me to my little 1994 Mazda Miata. Such a fun little car. A lot of people joke on them. Oh, they're girl cars, they're hairdresser cars. That thing was actually a lot of fun. Not only was it my first convertible, it was my first vehicle with pop-ups, and I love pop-ups. Also my first first manual car. Like, I learned how to drive manual in that car. It's kind of fucked, actually, when you think about it, because neither me nor my girl at the time knew how to drive manual. And what do? We get a manual car. There's a little more history and backstory to that, but we're not going into that. Anyways, so learned how to drive manual on that car from somebody who actually knew how to drive a manual. So no, I didn't just, burn out the clutch trying to figure it out myself. Yeah, with that one, fun little car. It was the hard top, not the soft top. So unfortunately, I didn't get to experience a lot of the convertible aspect as I wanted to, just because I didn't have that easy access of, oh, it's about to rain, pop the hood back up, or pop the top back up. Oh, it's sunny again, pull it right back down. I had to take off the hard top, leave it at the house, and hope that I didn't get rained on. If I could, I would definitely go back and get another Miata, because I love that car so much. It was so much fun to drive. Alright, so the 1997 Acura Integra. This one was low-key kind of a dream car for me, just because I have memories of me and my dad driving around in his Integra when we were stationed over in Japan. So for as long as I can remember, I've wanted an Integra just because of those memories. Sentimental type shit, So, the 97 Integra. I actually traded the Miata in for the Integra for reasons I don't really feel like going into, but let's just say that at the time, the Miata wasn't going to be big enough. So I needed something with back seats. So I traded the Miata in for the Integra, which even to this day I still regret, because I let go of a pretty awesome car for a dream car. Which, okay, when said like that, doesn't sound too bad. But here's where the fantasy dies. So I get it. After about a week of having it, all of a sudden it wouldn't start. I'm thinking, okay, maybe the battery's dead. And, I mean, at this point, it's literally at my job, won't start for nothing, so I couldn't take it anywhere. I didn't have a code scanner or a battery tester. I didn't have anything to be able to figure out what it was. So I'm just going off of whims. I've got a little more car knowledge at this point. So, alright, replace the battery. Nope, wasn't it. Replace the starter. Nope, wasn't it. Replace the fuel pump. Nope, wasn't it. Got it towed to the house eventually, and had a buddy who knew more about cars than I did kind of inspect the car, and he realized that my fuel pump was wired to a relay, but the way it was wired, like a separate relay, not wired in the way it should have been. The way that it was done, though, if you tap that relay, or if it sways when you turn or whatever, the power gets cut from the relay or from the fuel pump. Therefore, no pumping of fuel to the engine, no fuel in the engine, it dies out. Okay, so try to figure that out. I'm no electrician. Even to this day, I don't really like doing electrical work. So I ended up selling that. If I had half the knowledge that I have now, then I probably could have got it fixed and dealt with. But again, still learning things about cars at that point, whatever. Ended up letting it go. Missed that car so much. Alright, so here we've got the 2002 Saturn SL1, which looks a little sleeker than the other one that I had, just because it doesn't have that Rubbermaid looking ass bumpers for the front and the rear. So while I had the Integra and I was trying to figure that out, I ended up getting this Saturn. So I had both of those for a short period of time until I finally was just like, okay, you know what? I can't figure out the Integra. I don't know what I'm doing with it. Let it go. So I let that go. The Saturn lasted me a good little bit. Well, I guess it depends on your aspect of good little bit. So, whatever. I had that one, and at that point, I was seeing somebody new, and me and this new person, we ended up splitting up, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out what was going, like, how it got to this point. Literally the day that we split up, I ended up totaling that Saturn. So I was distracted driving. Word to the wise, don't drive distracted. If you're not in the right headspace, don't drive. Anyways, so with that, I ended up rear-ending somebody who rear-ended somebody else who rear-ended somebody else. So a total of 4 cars involved in that accident. Total loss. Done and done. Goodbye. On to the next car. And now we are at the 1999 Ford Windstar. So, I have a few pictures of this one. This one actually kind of became well known in the Charleston area just because of how stupid I made this thing. So, we bought this, me and the girl that I was seeing soon at that time, and we got it out of just need for a car, plus her kids. So, we got a van, and me, I'm not big on Ford. I'm also just getting into quote-unquote modifications. So, we sat here and decided to just do random things to it. My dad had ordered me one of those, like, eBay, Amazon fart cans, put it on the back of it. Decided to get the fake vents, random stickers, just, rice the hell out of it. Which is why it was dubbed the Ricer Rig. Which, as you see, we literally plastered a big-ass sticker calling it the Ricer Rig. It became known around Charleston because I would just do dumb shit in it. Leaving a meet one time, me and the girl, we were at the light, a whole bunch of people are leaving the meet. It looked dumb as shit. Like, everybody just, it became a joke, a running meme at that point. Anyways, we're leaving the meet. I told her to hold my drink because, the Windstar does not have shit for cup holders. So I told her to hold my drink, and as soon as the light went green, I gassed it, cut the wheel, power slid it through the whole intersection. And yes, I say power slid instead of drifting because front wheel drive doesn't drift. It power slides with enough speed. So I power drifted it through the intersection. She's yelling at me. And then we get this Mustang pull up next to us, giving us the thumbs up, like, hell yeah, brother. It was awesome. At that point, she couldn't really be mad. She just started laughing. And it got to the point where people would see me on the road and like literally rev at me just to race. Yeah, I knew I was gonna lose. It's a stock freaking Ford Windstar, a stock 99 Windstar. Like, it's got shit for power. It's front wheel drive. It ain't gonna do shit, you know? But it became almost iconic in the Charleston scene. Like, people would post on the page, I can't believe this. What the hell does this guy think he's doing? And then so many people would comment on it, talking about how that thing is actually pretty quick for what it is, blah, 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 blah. I literally had a Lambo toy with me. Like, I guess he knew about it too. And so we're going down the road, just kind of, you know, trading lead positions. It was, I actually had a lot of great memories, even though it really was a piece of shit van. But whatever. So, oh yeah, we also had to cut out the cats. So, you know, cat delete, fart can muffler. It sounded like complete ass, looked like shit. We get up to Columbia and end up selling it because it was starting to have some transmission issues. I wonder why. So we sell it to this dude who he had some random story about his daughter or some shit like that. Or whatever. Next thing you know, we see it on the road as a Spectrum van, or it was Spectrum or Sprint van, which is what that last picture is. We're driving down the interstate and just see it pass us. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the Racer Rig. What the fuck? So yeah, crazy shit. All right, so after the Racer Rig saga, as I was looking for somebody to buy the Racer Rig, I ended up getting the 1998 Honda Civic. Had a fart cannon on the back, manual, aftermarket rims. So, in diving into this vehicle, I noticed something just didn't seem right after I bought it. It came factory with a B16A2, but what was in it was a D16Y4. So obviously the original motor was probably blown or whatever. They swapped in something else, and I'm pretty sure it was not done right, because after having it for I think like a month or two, I pop it out of gear to go into the next gear, or as I'm slowing down, popping into neutral, whatever. But I'd take it out of gear and it would just die on me. So I'm not sure what the hell happened. Still to this day, don't know what the fuck happened with it, but whatever. Ended up letting that one go. Whatever, end of story with that. So, after the Civic, I ended up with a 2018 or 2019 Ice Bear Mad Dog, which pretty much the Honda Ruckus clone. So I bought that. Ended up, after I paid it off, I put a quote unquote big bore kit. So it was a 50cc. I put the 80cc head on, or I didn't do it, but took it to a shop that specializes in moped customization and stuff like that. So got the 80 head, put it on there. So now it's 80 cc's, whatever. I had that for a short period of time and let it go. But in that time of having it, so a moped in the state of South Carolina is not anything, or cannot go faster than 35 miles per hour. Well, I was going down the road, not paying attention to the fact that I was actually doing 40. Get pulled over by a cop for speeding, which is funny as hell, because technically the road I was on is 45, so I was not speeding, but I had a moped plate. I was going over 35, so he wrote me a ticket for one, going too fast for moped standards, two, speeding on a moped, and three, having an unregistered motorcycle. Sir, how are you going to sit here and write 2 tickets under moped code, but then write a third one under a motorcycle code? Doesn't make sense. Those tickets ended up getting dropped because he never showed up to court twice. So, the first time I went to court on the date that I was supposed to be there, he didn't show up, a continuation, excuse me. Then the second time that he didn't show up, they just threw it out. So cool, didn't have to pay anything and fight to prove, sir, whatever, blah blah blah. Anyways, so funny story about it. Yeah. The moped for some reason just stopped working. I don't know if it was the carburetor or maybe something was wrong or something broke because something wasn't done right when the big bore kit got put on it. I don't know. Don't really care. Done it over with. Next. So after the Mad Dog, ended up with a 2014 Chevy Sonic. This was a piece of fucking shit. I'm gonna try and keep this simple. We got it. Hated it. Wasn't big enough. Didn't like it. We had it for about a year, and then in that year's time, we ended up putting 5 thermostats into it. Yeah, ridiculous. Now that I think about it, it might have also been the water pump was bad, causing the thermostats to go out. So, whatever. Ended up selling that to a friend, quote unquote friend. And she ended up running it high and then wanted to get her money back because now it doesn't work. That's not my problem. Yeah, at this point we don't fucking talk to her anymore because she's a bitch. But whatever. So, yeah, that's pretty much the story of that. It was a piece of shit. Alright, guys. I know this is a long video. We're almost there. Just a few more cars to go. So, we got rid of the Sonic. My girlfriend got something else. I ended up with this bike. A 2012 Kawasaki Ninja 250. So, bare bottom of, the barrel. The smallest engine that you can get, which... Did I want something bigger? Yes, but this is what I could do. So I ended up with this because where I was working at the time, I needed a car. I had $1,000. My boss needed a truck. He had the bike. And then my coworker had a truck. He needed money. So, okay. I gave the money to my coworker, he gave the truck to my boss, and my boss gave the bike to me. Cool. I didn't know how to ride a bike with gears. So, he drove the bike to my house. I drove the truck to my house. He got the truck and then went home. And I just kind of learned in my neighborhood how to ride a bike, change gears, figured that out. I like that bike. It was a good bike. Did I outgrow it pretty quickly? Yes. I'm not going to say that I topped it out, but that one went about 110. So yeah, there's that. Good bike. As you saw, was black at the beginning. I stripped down the paint and painted it that multicolor that you see. And kind of, I enjoyed it. And then me being a dumbass, not knowing, I let it sit over winter without ever cranking it, and it gummed up the carburetor. I could never get it running back again. Tried rebuilding the carburetor, tried replacing the carburetor, it just would not fucking crank. So I ended up selling that, and I do miss that bike. I plan to get another bike, something bigger, because I did outgrow that 250 pretty quickly. It was fun, but I'm ready to get back on two wheels and have something, maybe like a 600 or 750 or something like that. We'll see. Okay, so recall how I told you we sold the Sonic to a acquaintance. We'll just say acquaintance at this point. Well, that money was used to get this Integra, the 1998 Integra. Two-door, yada yada, hatchback. So I had the Integra and the bike pretty much at the same time. So this Integra I ended up getting from a dealership at the same time that the sister-in-law got her her Nissan Cube. We got them about a week apart, and yeah, I'm never going back to that dealership again. So, while I had that Integra, I did rear end somebody, not even that bad. We were sitting at a red light. There was a truck up front. The car that I had a collision with, and then me, obviously. So, light goes green, the truck starts going and then just takes off. A cooler falls out of the back of the truck bed. She slams on her brakes. I did not notice, so yes, it was my fault. Granted, nobody did get faulted for it because it wouldn't have happened. As the cop explained, had there something not fallen out of the back of the truck, then he would be putting blame on me. But because there was a obstacle in the road that caused her to slam on the brakes, he was just gonna put nobody at fault. It was a collision, whatever. All right, cool. That kind of helped because insurance and everything. But yeah, so I ended up rear-ending her, and I say it wasn't bad, but it was bad enough, I guess. I had to replace the radiator and the AC condenser because, I don't even really remember how that happened or how those got messed up, but bash bar wasn't sunken in at all. Or was it? It was. That's right, because I had to tie I tied the bash bar to a tree and then backed the car up to pull the bumper back out. But whatever. I digress. So I'm sitting here and I'm doing my delivery job at the time, and then all of a sudden I hear the most god awful sound that any carhead can hear. Yeah, no, that's bad. So I pull over, I call my girl, she comes and we check it out, and yeah, it's It's fucking done. So we get it towed to the house. Come to find out, blew a hole in the block. Why? Because my oil was escaping through the exhaust. The reason why I had prefaced this story with the fact that me and the sister-in-law had got a car at the same time from the same people is, oh, crazy, hers ran dry too. What kind of fuck bullshit is this? Like, what kind of operation does this dealership have? So yeah, never going there again, because you can't tell me that that was all my fault. Should I have been paying attention to my fluids? Yes, I will admit that. But how are you going to sit here and have two cars bought at the same time that both have the same issue? And it's not even like they were the same make. Like I said, Acura Integra and a Nissan Cube. Or no, it wasn't a Cube, excuse me. It was a Versa. Nissan Versa. But whatever. So, I digress again. Okay, so after my favorite Integra that I've had out of the two, I ended up with a 1999 Hyundai Elantra wagon. This one I probably spent the most money on actually customizing it. I'm not going to say modding, because intake and wheels are not a mod. It's not a build, man. Whatever. I threw my own style into this the most out of all these cars. There. So, for starters, I took out the stock airbox and put a intake pod on there, so like a K&N filter. Quote unquote short ram intake. Whatever. Lowered it about 2 inches all the way around. Put 2-inch spacers on it, which really helped like solidify that the spacing that I had between the lowering and where my tires sat, which you can tell from the before shots and the after shots of the them with and without the spacers. I put mud flaps on it for whatever reason. I still don't know why I did that to this day. Hella stickers, because, you know, stickers equal horsepower. The exhaust, I ended up pretty much doing a full custom exhaust with catless headers, back to just a straight pipe all the way back to no muffler, just pure pipe, all the way back. So with that, as you see in the photos, I had 3 iterations of how I had my pipe end. I had the obnoxious Bosozoku style up and off to the side. Then I had just straight out the back, and then finally settled on a turn down muffler. So there's the exhaust setup. I had the spike lug nuts, because pokey poke. As you also see, I went hoodless for a minute, and then that was actually inspired off of one of my homeboys, Ace, who you see in this in these pictures. He's got the Golf. Go hit up his channel, Killswitch Ace. I'll go ahead and put the link in the description. Bro's really doing it out there with that fucking Golf. So yeah, definitely go check his channel out. Dude's got really good content. Just that man, he is that guy when it comes to prowling the streets and trolling the fuck out of people. So right now, his vehicle's doing let's just say it's getting some goodies right now. So I'll let him fill you in on the details about his car. and all that, because I plan to meet up with him some point soon and do a review on his car. So be on the lookout for that video. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to the next vehicle. Alright, so after the one car that I probably had a lot of fun messing around with, the wagon, I ended up with a 2007 Santa Fe. So this one, put little light bars on it. Didn't really have it that long, and I'll explain that in a second. But that was actually a pretty decent car. Had my 12, or was going to put my 12s in there, never got to. Also, light bar. Saw in previous pictures how bright that light bar is compared to no light bar. Yeah, lesson learned. Don't have them on when you're behind a cop, because you get pulled over. So, yeah. Anyways, reason I don't have that one anymore is I was taking a, let's say, sabbatical from life. And while I was there, a certain acquaintance or person that I know used my car and ended up totaling it. Here's the pictures of what happened to said car. And yeah, I was still making payments on it. So yeah, ended up obviously total loss, as you can tell by these pictures. So ended up going through insurance, getting the payout, whatever, and that's how I ended up with the next car. Alright, so saw the Santa Fe. Used that money to get this 2015 Chevy Malibu. Didn't seem so bad up front, you know. Alright, cool. There's a little bit of body damage, like the front bumper wasn't sitting proper and the grill was cracked. Whatever. Not that big of a deal. That's cosmetic stuff. I can fix that later. Only had that one for maybe 3 weeks before it broke down. Spent the next month and a half roughly trying to fix it, replace some sensors, because I got the codes right. It was like, oh, sensor fault here, sensor fault there. So I replaced some sensors. Still wasn't cranking or turning over or anything. Read the codes again, and it said something about fuel efficiency, like low fuel efficiency or some shit like that. I replaced the fuel pump, and eventually I was just like, look, I've sunk $500 into trying to fix this just for it to not be working. Y'all can have it back. Come to find out, oh look, just like the first Integra, blown fucking motor. Alright, cool. Done with that. Fuck it. And now we have finally arrived to my current car and its situation. So, I bought this car, $1,500, was told it cranks, drives. All I need to do is get a tire, do your general check your fluids, get a battery for it, she'll be good to go. Never done him wrong, blah, 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 blah. Well, I got all that taken care of. Well, I aired up that tire that was flat, got it registered, insured, everything was set, ready to go. Cranked it, engine is healthy as all fuck, like, sounds good, no tapping, nothing. Sounds amazing. Put it in gear, give it a little gas, no movement. Alright, you know what? Maybe the brake are a little locked up or something. Let's go ahead and give it more gas, try and break that loose or whatever. You know, I'm trying to be optimistic about it. You know, that probably sounds like the dumbest reason for it to not move, because, you know, it got brought up here from like 45 minutes away. Brakes shouldn't be locked up or anything. But I'm trying to be optimistic. Ended up pedal to the or like pedal all the way to the floor. RPMs go all the way up, no movement. What the fuck? So that's where I'm sitting at now. I have a car that I can't use because, well, the fucking transmission is bad. I'm still trying to be optimistic, excuse me. And maybe it's something simple. The shift cable, shift solenoid. Hopefully it's not the whole transmission. So at this point, I'm just trying to weigh my options. Do I go ahead and get the transmission diagnosed, fixed, and now I've got a good car? Or do I cut my losses, get rid of it, and use that money to try and get something different? Or, option C, I get something different and then strip this down and make this into like a poor man's Evo. You know, it's up in the air. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think I should do with this thing. Should I just cut my losses? Should I get it fixed? Or should I turn it into a project? Definitely want to know what your guys' opinions on how I should handle this situation. What you think I should do with it. So, yeah. Thank you for taking this voyage with me. All the way from my El Camino through all of these cars up to this Galant. Alright, guys. So, I want to thank y'all for watching this. I know it was a long one. If you made it this far, that is. You know, I mean, hell, even if you didn't make it this far, you're not going to hear this, but I appreciate everybody who clicks on my videos, gives it a shot. You know, I know I'm not the best at this, but hey, I'm trying out here, so any support that I get from you guys, I greatly appreciate. You know, thank you guys. Like I said, if you made it this far, you're the real ones, you know, because this was a long ass video. A lot of cars that I've had in my life, considering my first one, that El Camino, I got when I was 16, and here I am 32. So in a 16-year range, I've had 18 cars. That's a lot of cars, especially when they say that the average person has 8 cars in a lifetime. I'm over double that. So you know what, instead of tying you up any longer, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.